Hey, family. Hey, family. This is Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. In my head, in my head, I'm going boom, boom, boom. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Boom, boom, boom. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. You know what? I started understanding over the 63 years of my life. If you are happy, if you found peace in your life, right? And you are happy, joyous, and free. If you manage to find peace in your life and you are happy, joyous, and free, you know you will become the most hated individual that's in miserable people's lives. You will become the most hated. When you're used to, or you have learned, and it's some of the things that I posted over the TikTok, right? I can only, and I realized this in life, right? I can look up statistics, I can do research on data, I can do all that good stuff that a lot of people tend to do. I can do it too. But I don't know if that stuff is actually true. You get me? So the reason why I'm saying this, because I have to go off of basically what I have experienced myself over the last 63 years of my life. Now I know we'll come on here, right? And we'll talk a little bit about 1619, the 1500s. We'll go back to biblical time. We'll go back to history. And I don't think people realize that when we're reading or we're doing research on other information from, it's supposed to be people life experiences. That's why it's called his story. History. History. So if you haven't really experienced something similar or have experienced what they're talking about, it could be fiction and not based around actual facts. So out of the 63 years of my life, I have done a lot of things. I've been a lot of places, seen so many things. So the only thing I can do is share my experiences and relating to whatever the topic or conversation may be. I can go back and talk about my mother experiences. I can go back and talk about my uncles and my aunts experiences. I can't say my grandfather because my grandfather passed away when I was about 10, I believe. I know I was young. So I can't really talk about like what I really seen with him as a child. But I can only share from the last 63 years of me being on this earth with my mother, my mother's uncles, and stuff like that, and aunts. And basically all of them are gone. They're gone. My oldest brother is still living, which is 72. No, 71. I apologize. He's about 10 years. My cousin is 10 years. My cousin is 9 years. Sharon is 9 years older than me. My brother is 8 years older than me. I want to make sure I'm calculating it right, because my oldest brother passed away. If he was still living, he would have been, in September, he would have been 73. He's 10 years older than me. So this is how I had to calculate the ages. But basically what I'm trying to say, I am the fourth oldest, youngest generation that's living. What I mean is my aunts, my grandmother, all of them gone. So I got my brother, I got my two cousins, Sharon and Georgie, and I'm number 4 of the oldest Copeland family living, from Charles White Copeland. That's amazing. Because I kept saying the third, but then I thought about my cousin Georgie, right? Abdul, Sharon, Georgie, then me. The oldest. Now, when I say that, out of Barbara Jean Copeland's children and out of Mary's Copeland children, oh my God, I forgot Uncle Robert in them, right? But I'm looking at the ones here, right? But my other family is Williams. They in D.C. That was my great grandmother's last name, Nora Williams, who birthed, oh my God, I'm going to say Charles White Copeland. But I had to realize, right, even though we're carrying my grandfather's name, Nora Williams was his wife. So if I go to the mother side of everything, we actually came from the mother. You get me? So even though my grandfather, we carrying his name, Copeland. Listen to what I'm saying. The grandfather, we're carrying my grandfather, my mother's father, we're carrying his last name. But actually, my mother's mother last name was Williams. So one day it hit me. I said, by right, we are Williams. Because you know the old statement, mama's baby, daddy's maybe. And I had to realize that. Even though we're carrying the Copeland's name, we are actually Williams, because we came from Nora Williams. So it hit me one day, right? And I don't have a specific topic. I'm just talking, okay? It hit me one day that, yeah, the man with the sperm, the seed, infertile with the egg, but it's the mother that produces out the child. Now, if you want to get deep into it, the man would have to take a DNA to actually see if that child actually is. But it's coming from the mother. Don't make an argument out of it. You don't have to make an argument. Because I accept the fact. Guess what? You know, I've been married twice. Now, my first daughter, that night, when she was conceived, I told her mother, I said, you are pregnant. She laughed about it till some weeks later came and she realized she was actually pregnant. My second wife, with my son and my daughter, each time the conception came about, I told her each time, It was just a different feeling out of all of it. You know what I mean? When you release yourself, it was just something different about those nights. And I was the one that told them, you're pregnant. And later, which basically I'm saying weeks later, you know how they start getting sick and everything. They came back. I said, I told you. It was just something special about that release. Now, some men might understand what I'm saying. Some women might even understand. I can only speak from when it came from me, right? But and one time, look, I was arguing with my wife, and I kind of questioned it about they might not be my children. I was scared as I don't know what she talking about. But we can do a DNA. We can do a DNA. I'm like, don't play with me with mine. But see, that's how some guys do, right? They turn around. Would you say, Secret, that you know she was on her way to work and you looked around and realized she had missed a see, you kind of feel what I'm saying. And I'm telling y'all, my oldest daughter, it was just something special about the nights, you know. And out of all those times you release yourself, you know, it was just something amazing about that feeling. And I told her all 3 times. And I biologically, I have 3. But I have 2 stepdaughters with my second wife, and I have a stepson with my first wife. And to be honest with you, Secret, I ain't questioning it. I'm not saying anything, but I do believe deep in my heart that's my son too. Because him and little Steve look just alike, but I leave it alone. Because she was talking to a guy when we got together and started talking and blah, blah, blah. Then we ended up being together. So I've been knowing her now for a little over 45 years. I'm talking about my first wife. Because when we met, I'm 5 years older than her. She was born in 1967. I was born in 1962. Her and my little brother is the same age. Matter of fact, back in the days, I didn't sleep with her, but I was talking with her sister. Back in the days, we was all teenagers. I was talking with her sister. But then, and she was she talking with my brother? I think she was talking with my youngest brother. But some kind of way it flipped. And her and I end up talking. And we moved on from there. Been knowing her now for 45 years. That was in 1980. Matter of fact, it might have been 79. Because my niece was born in 1980. So I've been knowing her since my niece was born. So I calculated by 45 years because my niece is 45 now. Now, she's closer to my family than my ex-wife. My first wife and my family, they all still communicate, fellowship, all of that. Now, my second wife, all of us came together still. But she wasn't really crazy about my family. My family wasn't crazy about her. It happens. It happens. You know, during the holidays, I cook for Thanksgiving. This is how Barbara Jean taught me. Every Sunday, as I was growing up, my mother used to cook. If she made a ham, she fried chicken. If she made pig feet, she fried chicken. If she made all of that with the macaroni and cheese and the collard greens and the pig feet, pigtail, hog mugs, chilling stuff, we had fried chicken with it. I'm a diabetic to prove it. So look, I pick with people and I say, if you ever want to know how, yeah, Big Mom, I seen you came up with that name. I tell people, if you ever want to learn how to be a diabetic, I can cook for you. Look, Big Mama, I can cook them down home goddamn meals from scratch. Mainly the macaroni and cheese and all that. coconut milk and all that type of stuff, carnation milk, that's old school stuff. What's up, Bird? That's old school stuff. From scratch. That's that stuff that give you high blood pressure, give you diabetes. You fall asleep right after you eat a plate. I can't eat like that no more, y'all. I be wanting to, and I'm gonna tell y'all this. As a diabetic, you know, I had to start eating more healthier. And I used to be over 300 pounds. Now I'm down to 200. And I'm trying to get my A1C basically under control where I won't have to take the medication anymore. And I've been a diabetic for 35 years. In this process, what's up, Kofi? In this process, I'm going to tell y'all right now, I thank God. Truly, I thank God. Because I've been a diabetic for 35 years. You know, I have to keep getting my eyes checked, right? I have to keep getting my, well, right now with me being a diabetic for as long as I have, I'm looking at my organs now. I'm looking at my kidneys, my liver, you know, my eyesight. I'm looking at actually the trauma that it can cause to the organs now. So that's why I know it is so important to take care of yourself. Now, I'm going to say this because I have 3 toes on 1 foot, right? On my right foot. And for as long as I have been a diabetic, and I thank God, right? I thank God I've not lost my eyesight. I thank God that I have not lost all my limbs. You get me? Yes, because of certain little things, I had a toe cut off. Then I had an operation, a couple of them, because people ignored my cry for help when I was over the prison, which they neglected me. So by right, I can sue the prison. I was operated on my feet twice, and I ended up losing my big toe. So I got 3 toes on my right foot. Now, I can sue the Eastern District Police Department for what they did to me, and I can sue the prison system, the hospital for what they did to me by neglecting me. I can sue. Okay? But now, this is where I'm at, family, because of certain things that happened to me. I'm trying to just push it behind me. But I'm going to tell you right now, for me running off at my mouth, if a civil rights group or one of some of these groups or somebody want to come together and say, Mr. Copeland, we will handle your case for you, fine. But my thing is right now, because I know I can get millions out of what happened to me. Already know. Already know. But the thing is, you know how you try to practice forgiveness in your heart and in your spirit? So my thing was to just let it go. But if it's God's will for somebody, and I'm talking about like somebody like Ben Crump and all of them, decide that they hear this message, or I'm introduced to him and he said, Mr. Copeland, we'll handle your case. Let's go. You hear me, Brandon Scott? You hear me, Ivan Bates? Because I reached out to y'all before a lot of this got out of hand with the Eastern District Police Department. Commissioner Harris, I know you preaching now, and I know where you at. I reached out to your office about 3 times for you. Now I can talk about all this bull junk. I was talking about it before they end up coming for me. Before they locked me up. Some people told me y'all set me up, but I ain't gonna believe that. I'm talking about the police department and the politician. Yeah. I got a phone call about a week or 2. And Angel, I'm gonna mention your name. She called me and told me. She was like, Mr. Copeland, they shutting a lot of community activists down. And I noticed I wasn't hearing about a lot of people anymore like I used to in the community, right? I said, Brandon Scott ain't gonna let nothing happen to me, blah, 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 blah. Next thing you know, I was gone. I was at the budget meeting, 2023, Ladybug. I was at the mayor's budget meeting, the organization I'm with, My director told me to go to the budget meeting, you know, get a record of everything they talking about and what's going on so I can come back and share it with them. Right? That was March 11th, 2023. I hugged Brandon Scott. I said, I need to talk with you. I'm going through some stuff with the Eastern District Police Department. This was before he got up there and started talking about the budget. That was March 11th, 2023. March the 12th, 2023, I got locked up that evening. I don't think he had nothing to do with it. I really don't. But a lot of people been, you know, because of certain things that's happening. Now, I understand politics is what it is. For a lot of y'all that don't know and don't understand, I am a community activist. I'm in the community. I am a community organizer. I don't get paid for this, okay? Some people that work with a lot of these nonprofit organizations, and I'm gonna say civil rights organizations, and mostly your volunteers don't get paid. But if I become a paid member of that organization, normally they write your speeches when you go out to speak. I don't like feeling blocked when it comes to talking about Black people issues, community issues. That's why I'm known as the big mouth bald-head Black dude. And I found that out. It was Black people that gave me that name. And it hurt my feelings. It was really embarrassing because y'all gave me that name in a negative way. The big mouth bald-head Black dude. And thank you, Lady J, because I met Lady J because she been hearing about me. And she said, do you know you are considered as the most hated man in Baltimore City? I said, what? Because I'm speaking out against corruption in the Black community, but I'm challenging the Black community to stand up and fight for your civil rights, your equal rights, and your constitutional rights. And rather than y'all backing me and standing with me, you decided to degrade me. My own people. Kidney Nurse comes on here from time to time. He does his own platform as well. He introduced me as a guest on his show as the most controversial man in Baltimore City. That goes to show you that Mr. Copeland don't take no bull crap. That's all. That's all. When it comes to the Black community. When it comes to dealing with people that we pay, like our police officers, like our politicians to do work for us, and they're not doing it, and people like me with my mouth say things to keep them accountable. And I became the most hated man for speaking out for the Black population. So can't nobody tell me, right? You can't tell me. We are not our worst enemies. One thing I try not to do, and I just want to say this. Anybody, and y'all know Strength in the Community is my LLC, right? Anybody that wants to be a part of that, I'm talking about with your own business, for us to build back up, mainly in the Black community. Anybody that wants to be a part of that, come with your own. We just coming together as one. It's like a big puzzle. If your stuff is in order, I'm talking about your business, and we add to each other, don't try to control this over here. I need you to stick to what you do, your profession, your profession, profession. I'm sorry, I knew it wasn't sounding right. Profession, pro. You're a professional. Stick to your profession. I'm not waiving what I do for none of y'all. It's already set. And you might have that added piece to help it grow more. And both of us, you get me? Because we all coming together as one, like that big puzzle. When I started saying it, life is like a puzzle, mainly when it comes to business. So we add each other, we help each other, we encourage each other, we motivate each other, we empower each other. All of that will fly over a lot of y'all heads. But the reason why I'm saying that, it's a lot of people that will come to me, and I'm thinking that you are serious about doing business together. I'm thinking that you got all your stuff in order, and you know I'm going to ask you questions to make sure your paperwork, everything is in order so we can run sufficiently. I'm sorry. That one too. I'm going to ask you questions because if you're talking about business, you got an EIN number, right? If you're not using your personal Social Security stuff to run your business. So be honest, I know where my stuff is at. So I need to make sure we all aligned up. And you need to make sure I'm aligned up. We're lined up together. So what tends to happen, a lot of y'all will jump over here only for me to find out you full of crap. Then you're going to turn around and get mad with me when I pull your card. Why? You wasn't in order when you came. So why are you going to get mad when you get exposed? Black people? I ain't talking about the white man. Why are you going to get offended? When you coming somewhere, you already lying, you manipulating, you trying to get over. And then the moment you expose, you want to flip it and make me out to be the sorry, no good. No, you won't either. Not him. Not here. So if you are a deceitful person, business-wise, and it reminds me of that hustling lifestyle where I used to be. When I see it, I'm not going to be bothered with you because it reminds me too much of that corrupt lifestyle I used to live. Don't get pissed with me when I spot you for who you are and tell you you got to go, or I see you for who you is and I tell you I'm not even gonna mess with you. Why should I? Help me to better understand why should I mess with you if you are a deceitful, lying, no good person, business-wise. Because basically you robbing and you stealing from the less fortunate to gain to fatten up your pockets. So please help me to understand why I need to do business with you. When you know your stuff is not in order. Please. And if somebody want to comment something just to make sense out of that crud ball bull junk, please do. Because it won't make sense to somebody that lived a certain way of life and don't live it no more. Because y'all will justify the most outrageous nonsense to make it legit. That's just go to show you where your mindset is at, where your thinking is at. And before I came on here, I prayed that God will decrease me and increase him. I prayed that God will decrease me and increase him, because y'all know when I open up my mouth, I'm going to come. And a lot of y'all will look at me, oh, he's not professional. Oh, yes, he is. He's very good for not taking people's bull crap. If you like that bull crap, you are a sucker. That's you. Don't put me there. I tell a lot of y'all this is ministry for me too. Now, only to go back, right, in an area where I was once poisoning the community, where I was capitalizing off of people pain and misery in the community. You could not tell me that I was wrong or my family was wrong for the stuff we was doing. It wasn't until God opened up my eyes. And see, y'all don't want to hear the truth. When I say stuff like, once I was blind, but now I see. Once I was lost, but now I'm found. See, I ain't lost today. And you got a lot of people that feels like they got the package out there, but you got a package out there, but you trying to still work an 8-hour job. That goes to show you ain't making no money. But you want to brag about it. You poisoning the community and you still working a regular job. And they're going to say stuff like, I'm getting my hustle on. I'm getting my grind on. You think OG ain't familiar with all that? And you still working a regular job? You still working an 8-hour job? And you getting your hustle on. You getting your grind on. That goes to show Big Unc, you ain't really making no money. Because when you hustling and you grinding, you don't work an 8-hour job. So who do you think, when y'all run off at your mouth about certain things, you fooling? Not Big Unc. Not retired OG. That sounds real good to y'all, don't it? I'm talking about a man that started his own LLC. I'm talking about a man that started a housing program. Temporary to permanent housing. I'm talking about a man that had to build a team. Board members, volunteers, other business people. I'd rather work with the Black community more, but if you don't step up to the plate and YT got stuff that they want to give back to the Black community, give it here. Because y'all so quick to say the white man this and the white man that, and you are right to certain degrees of us being held back. But when I realized, guess what? It's not all white people that's doing this. And then if I narrow it straight down to the Black community, we are our worst enemy. When y'all gonna wake up and realize that? When are you gonna wake up and realize if you want something out of life, you already know nobody's gonna hand it to us. You gotta work for the accomplishments that you want in life. You don't hear me on here, oh, the white man stopping this, the white man stopping that, because of this, because you don't hear me talk like that. With a 9th grade education, y'all don't hear me talk like that. Y'all got college degrees, y'all got letters behind your names, and y'all will still come on here, look at the accomplishments you made with your personal life. than the financial goals you set. And y'all will still come on here. Well, because the white man is in the way of us doing this and us doing that. But you are successful. Rather than you telling people how you was able to take the necessary steps to become successful in your life. If you need the help, I can guide you to through the proper steps or to the proper people that will help you. Do you tell your people that? Do you guide them to people that know where this government funding is at to help our children get through college? No. But you was able to get the funding to help your children, black people. And one thing about I learned, sometimes when you ask a black person, well, how were you able to do this? How were you able to do that? They will shut their mouth because they don't want you to move forward. Not Steve Copeland. Not Mr. Copeland. Any programs that I know that's out there where people can turn their lives around and become better citizens of the United States, Steve Copeland and the team is going to work with you and help you. But you got to do the work. People not going to hand you just nothing. And get yourself away from people who always want to talk downgrading and miserable stuff. People that's always want to talk about degrading you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Get away from them. They are spirit killers. The TikTok say word. Unalivers. They are spiritual unalivers. They appear to be happy, joyous, and free, but they're miserable as heck. Now, if I'm around you, I'll try to tolerate certain things because I've heard some good stuff about you. I know you got better qualities within you. But if you let that poison side show up a lot more, I am going to back up off of you. I don't flip-flop like that with people. I'm saying positive stuff to bring you in, right? I'm saying stuff that you want to hear just to bring you in. And then next thing you know, I'm flipping. Once I know you in, that calls you are considered as a liar, manipulating, no good, mother freaking whatever. You are. And one thing about people like myself, right? When you live life, challenges, struggles, I called them trials and tribulations today. I put it out today. They are trials and tribulations. They come to make you stronger. They come to make you a better person. Sad part about it, sometimes, you know, your life get torn apart. But you learn from what's happening to you. You learn to become a better human being. Because you know why? Now you're going to take that information and you're going to feed it to somebody else. What do I look like? January the 26th, 2026. God's will. I will have 33 years. And I want it clean. And I'm going to say addiction. Addiction. The word addiction, look it up if you don't understand what it is. It's considered to, thank you, as an obsessive and compulsive behavior that you have lost control over. Certain things that you do in life and you end up losing control. It can be lying. It can be manipulating. It can be smacks. It can be food. It can be gambling. That's what an addiction is. Obsessive and compulsive behavior. So when you come in my life, the goal when you come in my life is to help you gain some control back over your life because of your obsessive and compulsive behaviors that then became out of control. I had other people that had more clean time than me that helped guide me on a spiritual journey. It's a spiritual journey, not based around your religious beliefs. It's a spiritual journey. So when we talk about morals, when we talk about values, when we talk about principles, those are spiritual morals, values, and principles. When we're talking about being loving, when we're talking about being kind, when we're talking about being considerate, those are the good assets of your quality, the quality of your character. You don't know that? Now, when you want to get into your liability, those are jealousies, insecurities, resentments, anger, hatred. Those things tend to cause a lot of chaos and confusion and pain. If not in your lives, you will take it and put it in other people's lives. So 9 times out of 10, and I'm telling you right now, as a human being that worked on itself, if I was still that rotten, no good person I used to be over 30-something years ago, a lot of y'all wouldn't even want to be around me. Like right now, I'm talking positive. You still don't want to be around me because now I share about the truth, the nature. Even when I look at Lucifer, I only look at that evil side of that bad side of my character. Y'all want to make him out to be a monster. That's you making yourself out to be a monster. 4 heads and with horns and all that. It's describing your character. Look at the individual. Look at the human being. There's a loving, caring side of you. That's part of your makeup as a person. Then there's a side of you that get angry, that get mad, that get upset. That's you. You have feelings. But the thing is, you don't want your feelings in a negative way. Like your jealousies, your insecurities and stuff like that. A lot of times when we feel like that, we tend to do nasty things to other people to bring them down. Once you recognize the jealousy, the insecurities, the anger, the resentment, the hatred inside of you, you try your best not to let it take control of you as far as responding in a negative way. A lot of people that responds to resentment, anger, fear, hatred, stuff like that, 9 times out of 10, they might become violent. They will act out in a destructive way. You got to look at yourself when you, like with life, right? You got to look at yourself. You the one sitting there. Somebody look better than you, and you already know it. But you're going to make it, you're going to put yourself down because they might be looking better or carry themselves a certain way. I don't care how you look. You can't tell me I ain't handsome. You can't tell me I ain't a good looking man. I ain't got to have my teeth right here. I know I'm pretty. I know I'm sexy. Know why? Because I believe it in the inside. Even with my teeth not being there. Even drinking coffee and I brush my teeth, but my teeth, they look yellow anyway. Everybody don't have white teeth. I already know that. Because of the dentist I went to that came out with a bunch of teeth and he did the one that matched what was here. Everybody don't have pearly white teeth. Some people get their teeth bleached or however they do it. Stop saying stuff to people to degrade them because you're miserable inside yourself. If you are the type of person, right, that's basically happy, joyous, and free, or you okay with you, you learn to love you. You learn to love you, right? You can't do nothing but give it back. If you spit in hatred, if you spit in, I was getting ready to say resentments, right? But if you spit in hatred, bitterness, and trying to degrade people, that's you as a person, period. You only giving back how you feel inside about yourself and life in general. Do you realize that? Do you realize if you are truly a loving, caring, kind, considerate person, Christ-like, and I'm talking about the character, I'm talking about the personality. How in the world, if I want the spiritual side of me, and it don't look at it as being perfect, I want that spiritual side of me, that spirit man, that human being. I'm a freaking human being. Y'all act like you freaking aliens. I'm a human being with feelings, emotions, and all that good stuff. If I felt like crying right now because of something, I'm going to cry. My mother left me at 26. And I was watching something earlier and tears started running out my eyes and I said, switch it. Stop telling people what they shouldn't feel and how they feel. Let them feel what they gotta feel. Stop. Because when your turn comes, God gonna start allowing a lot of y'all to see these things. So when your turn comes, oh yeah, remember what you said to somebody else? Oh, you caught up in your feelings and emotions. Where you at right now? Oh, I can't let nobody know. I can't because I sit up there and told them about they shouldn't act like this. Stop. Help people to embrace whatever they feeling without being destructive. If I yell and scream like I'm doing now, who am I hitting on? Who am I punching? Oh, he loud. Oh, he angry. Why you gotta label it? No, I told y'all I got a big mouth. When I speak loud. I done told y'all that probably about 5 million times. You just don't get it. I tell y'all I'm an ordained deacon. My ministry is in the streets. Where was Christ's ministry at? In the streets. Anytime he spoke to the multitude, for a lot of y'all, he had to speak out, but he spoke around echoes, like in between places where his voice will echo for the crowd. When you're dealing with a group of people today in societies, we got the bullhorn, we got the mics, we have the speakers. So when you speak into a crowd, they can hear your voice all out there. So now this with a big mouth. This is with the big mouth. This is with the big mouth. This is with the big mouth, bald-head black dude coming in. Because I'll start off low and I get loud. Because when I start off speaking, people be like, we can't hear you. Wait a minute. Because once I get into the spirit, I'm gone. Y'all always put a negative label on what people do. You're not them. Just understand God used people for his own purposes. If you know anything about the works of the Holy Spirit, see, that goes to show me a lot of y'all that like to talk on stuff, mainly when it comes to the religious aspect, you don't know dirt nothing and get offended. Because you like to run off at your mouth about stuff you really don't have an understanding of. But I can only share how God worked with me. When I read the Bible or I study the Bible, none of y'all are right there with me. So that's God's way of talking to Steve Copeland. Now, when you read the Bible and you study the Bible, that's God's way of talking to you individually. The same way in the word it says, thou shalt not lay with a man as thou would lay with a woman. Now, if you read that and it don't resonate to you, and you all right with where you at with your sex preferences, God is all right with that too. Because he already knew what you was going to be before you got here. What do I look like telling you? No, that's wrong. No. God already knew. And most people, even if they have alternative lifestyles, right? They still love God. God don't like the sin, but he loves the sinner. Why y'all don't tell people that? Your sin might not be, or your disobedience, right, might not be what theirs is, but you're being disobedient to the word too. So sin is sin. But you'll sit back there, well, my sin is this little and your sin is that big. And I look at you like you some goddamn fool. Now that's how I minister. Because my whole goal with people is you never, I don't care who they are, if you trying to build a relationship with the Creator, the Son, the Holy Spirit, which we know it's only one God, don't you allow nobody, I don't care what your lifestyle is, don't you allow nobody to stop you from getting to know Jesus Christ or your higher power or the Creator. Don't you ever. Because that's the one that's going to give you peace in your life wherever you at with whatever you're doing, not human beings. That's what I learned throughout my 63 years. I sit here and I share with people, right? My first wife, I'm 5 years older than. My second wife, I'm 15 years older than. And I sit here and I tell y'all, I don't date women my age. Y'all got a problem with it. I don't. I know what I like. I know what turns me on. Why should I be with somebody that I really don't find attractive like that? You can do it. You can do it. Because I can tell you like this. Once I start losing that attraction for you, I have a tendency of stepping outside my marriages. Oh, I'm telling you me. You can say all you want. Oh, you shouldn't do that. No, I'm telling you, Steve. And I know I shouldn't have did it, but guess what? I did it. But that was my way. I didn't realize that was my way of working out of that marriage. When y'all sit back and say things like, if you want to cheat, leave. Eventually I did. See, it's not as easy as you say it out your mouth. So if it's not you, mind your goddamn business. Let somebody with experience tell you why they did what they did. Then you want to come back with your opinion. Well, see, what I think and how I feel. Well, my great-great-great-great-grandmother back in 1776, she ended up cheating on her. Oh, you was there when that happened? No, but I heard about it. Y'all get me when y'all talk like that. I be like, her? You all the way back when Adam and Eve. You all the way back when God created Adam and Lilith. If Lilith real or not, I don't know. I read up on her a little bit, right? And she ran off. It was some angels that went after Lilith, right? She was in the cave giving birth to a baby. And they told her, God said, take your butt back to your husband. She refused to. So they called her the mother of evil. The demon. Try to watch it for TikTok. Say the demon. Come on, if you know your stuff, y'all be coming on here. And I understand you sharing where you at. That's fine. I don't know if it's true or not. But I'm going to tell you this too. Adam and Eve. Adam had other wives. Where they came from. Where did Cain's wife come from? Who was the people that he was afraid once he left the land that his mother and father was on that might end up hurting him? Who was the people? Do y'all When you reading the part here, you might have to go somewhere else and get that other portion of it to put together with that and say, oh, now I understand. The Bible itself is like a puzzle. Then I want to make sure I say it right because I'm in my head. Because I'm getting ready to say Job, Abraham. Remember the first family he had? God ended up destroying their that family. But the second time he gave them back twice. So when I look at my daughter with my first wife, I look at my daughter with my first wife. My second wife, I had another daughter and a son. So do you see how the comparison is there? I went through some of the same things Abraham went through. I remember having bulls on my body and everything through the process. But I tried my best. And if I'm getting the Abraham kind of mixed up with Job, that's because I'm here, right? But look, the thing was, I was going through stuff, Kenny, through the trials and tribulations, right? And I don't like them. But I heard my pastor say one day, right, when you're going through trials and tribulations, go through them gracefully. I was like, God dang it. Because the point is, go through them without complaining and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? But when he said that, because when you going through life struggles and traumas and storms, you be like, I'm sick and tired of this. And then when you catch yourself doing it and you realize who's doing it to you, you be like, all right, I can't wait till it's over with. That's how I began to grow. And I try my best as a human being, right? When certain things happen in life, like you might be moving in a real beautiful direction, boom, 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 boom. That's what happened with me. And then something go boom and shut it all down. That's what happened to this building. I seen it. It came to a halt. I'm like, oh my God. Right in front of my eyes, it came to a halt. I had to get out the way. He moved me out the way for bigger and better things. But he took me from two houses to a 13 apartment complex. And I watched that thing boom. And I had to let some people go. Every time something happens, whenever I'm growing business-wise, spiritually, people will come in. And in my eyesight, they mean well. And once God revealed them to me, I can't keep working with you. I have to let you go. And that hurted me to my heart. It was two people, mainly. One was truly a God-fearing man. Both of them supposed to be God-fearing men. Talked all that God stuff. And I had to let him go. You do not play with me when it comes to business. If you're going to be a part of the team, you be a part of the team. You don't try to steal my business behind my back. Having meetings down there when I wasn't there to undermine my business. I had a board meeting and I had to get rid of them. See, some of y'all, right, black people, you hear me, I ain't saying the white man, right? Some of us just, when we do try to come together, you want to rob and steal and take from your own people. Even when you're trying to do business together, you want to rob and steal and see what you can profit from that individual. And I'm going to tell y'all, because my program is a housing program. And if I got 100 people in my program and you are a professional, right? Like PRP service, therapist, psychiatrist, that's 100 clients for your business. Because I have to refer my clients, listen closely, to the professionals. I am not licensed like that. I am not a professional like that. I'm considered as a life coach in helping people put their lives together. But I guide them to the actual professionals that knows how to deal with this in a more professional way, because that's where they got their degrees in, their license in, understanding the brain, how it works, the chemical imbalancements within the brain. And if it gets to the point that they see it can't be balanced out naturally with meditation, with prayer, with yoga, with exercise, and it can't balance you back out because your mind is constantly racing, then you might have to be put on meds to slow it down. Now, I'm not a licensed psychiatrist. I'm not a licensed therapist. I am not a licensed PRP. I am a man with the working knowledge of the 12 steps, 12 traditions, and 12 concepts of NA. I'm a man that God taught how to go back inside of himself and deal with personal issues that stems from childhood. So what I do, I help other men and women. I can do the same with the children. But it's the way you talk with them. You embrace them. Any type of relationship, and I'm not talking about boyfriend, girlfriend. It can be dealing with associates. It starts out with communication. Y'all didn't know that? You didn't know? It starts out like this. Communication. That's the first. Communicating. How am I going to get to know you if I don't talk with you? If I say something, then I need to shut my mouth while you respond. I talk a lot. I already know that. But I know how to listen more than I talk, because I told y'all I have clients. So if I don't listen to my clients, I won't know which way to guide them. So I have to shut my mouth. So it starts with communication. And if you got a person that's hurting inside, if you got a person that's going through life trauma, 9 times, or dealing with low self-esteem, how are you going to build it back up? How do you build it back up? Number one is start with communication. Start with being honest. After communication, being truthful. Being honest is being truthful. Not to you, but to yourself. Watch where I go with this. That's why a lot of y'all get lost. I need to be honest with me. To thy own self, be true, not you. I need to start believing and having faith back in myself. Because y'all told me I would never be nothing. I never amount to nothing. And you this, you that, you bald head, your teeth out. You're not as pretty as you think you is. You're an ugly 63-year-old man. And I turn around and say, you're a goddamn lie about this dude right here. And guess what? A lot of y'all want to sit up here and say something mean and nasty to me. I only got 6 fingers. I got 4 fingers missing over here. I got 6 fingers. Look. 6. This can be replaced. This can't be replaced. This is the other half of my fingers that didn't grow. So you know my self-esteem was low. My self-esteem was real low throughout the years. My family used to tease me and say the rats bit my fingers off. This is the type of stuff I was hearing from a child coming up. So my self-esteem is low. I had to learn to believe back in Steve. I had to learn to have faith back in Steve. I had to learn to start trusting back in Steve. So when I talk with people, right, I gotta talk with you because I know your self-esteem is low. I know you feel worth less than. So I have to build character back in you. Know why? Because I had to build character in Steve. So I'm only giving back what was given to me. How I was taught. So now when I say I had to learn how to love myself, I have to learn how to care for myself. You didn't put that there. They are morals, values, and spiritual principles. That's part of my personality, part of my character, but that's building back up on my spirit. Man, or woman, or child. So once I was able to build those things up inside of Steve through doing the step work, being honest with myself, having faith back in myself, trusting back in myself, I was able to take a fearless moral inventory of myself. So I went deep inside of myself to find out, why did I ever reach out for this, for the drinking, for this and this, until I was 30. Even though I was responsible, I wasn't one of them, over like that. No. I still worked and all of that. But we still did what was ever. It was always around me. So why not go back and help others that's lost? You hypocrites. And I'm just saying that for y'all that wants to be smart with us, that likes to run off at your mouth and do data and do researches and, well, see, the 100% of this or 95% of that. Focus on what's happening in your area. If you have trauma or situations that's in your area and you see things are falling apart, what are you doing actually to help resolve some of it? Come on, you want me to tell you? I'll tell you. Come on, talk with Steve. I'll tell you. Come on. I tell you the people that I know, for one, because I'm in the recovery process of putting my health back together. But that still don't stop me from making phone calls, communicating, and staying in touch with people. Telling them I'm proud of y'all. I'm good to see y'all out there, what you doing and stuff. I'm going to be marching with y'all soon. I'm going to be rallying with y'all soon again. Keep up the great work. You don't hear me on here saying, oh, that don't make no sense. Oh, this don't make no sense. Even when it come to our mayor, even when it come to our governor, I had to stop that. We got all these problems in the community, right? They got organizations in the communities that's working to resolve a lot of this or slow it down. That's groundwork. But you'll put your mouth on the mayor because I did it. You'll put your mouth on the governor because I did it. You'll put your mouth on your council members because I did it. You put your mouth on your people that's in the House of Delegates because I did it. Your senators, I did it. Your Congress members, I did it. Until I realized they working to help us, but look at so much oppositions that they come up against. Either you're going to be a part of the team or you're going to be out. So a lot of our politicians that definitely want to do the right thing for us, they get ridiculed. Look what y'all doing with Jasmine Crockett. Now let me tell y'all this. Well, whose mouth is the biggest? Jasmine Crockett. Female. Woman. Queen. She speak out. Very, very intelligent woman. Very educated woman. Y'all call her ghetto as all I'll do is. No, I'm ghetto. because my vocabulary is not as extent as hers. So I have to find certain words to put in the right place, and I might pronounce them wrong. Now, once I realized Jasmine Crockett was a community activist, I realized why she speaks the way she do. It hit me. She fighting for the democracy of the people. And it flies right over your head. That's why she speaks the way she do. And it's not pretty. I call Jasmine Crockett the female version of Steve Copeland. She into politics. She has a degree in political science. Donald Trump don't have a degree in political science. Donald Trump told everybody, I am not a politician. I'm a businessman that happened to run. Did y'all ever try to figure out why he was able to do that, not being an actual politician? Because I asked around. He's a well-known human being. People admired him. He was able to get in. And sometimes people like that, you know, they got to play with the votes. God darn, y'all just do y'all. Yeah. This what gets me with a lot of y'all. Y'all can talk a lot about the politics. You real good with this group, that group, this law or legislation, and in y'all head is him writing these policies. He do not. The president of the United States does not write policies. They too busy to sit back and write this type of stuff. That's not their mission and their purpose. He's a family man. He's traveling all over. So please help me understand what policies he sit down and write. But y'all give him credit for the bull junk that Congress is doing to the people. That's why that man moving on about himself, because he know he's not doing certain things. Either he's going to agree by signing it into law, or he's going to veto it, and Congress can flip it back anyway, if they want. But the Republican parties won't. But let it be the Democrat and a Republican president, and they don't like certain things, they're going to flip it. And whatever Trump is doing, if he make it over the next 4 years, everything that he called himself doing is going to be flipped. Now, I'm starting to focus more on this dictatorship, right? I'm starting to focus more on this martial law stuff. Because they're saying if we go into something like that, then he can't be removed. So you need to look at what he's doing, or what the Republican Party is doing to keep him lined up like that. You got all these women that was children that this man and did things to. And a lot of y'all, you know, if you've been violated as a child, and if you for this person, that goes to show you have not healed in a healthy sense, because you're making excuses for that type of behavior. Marjorie Greene, and I do believe the reason why she started speaking out, because she probably was SA as a child. And I said this on my live the other day, as a grown man, nice size, long, you get me? As a grown man, and I'm trying to watch it for TikTok's sake, want to take something that big and put inside a child, a small body like that. And y'all agree with that? Y'all agree with that? Anybody that's taken up for this man and the one that they underlied to, the lady, Maxwell. Don't forget, CK wife was a part of this too. And it's so many of y'all. And it makes me sick to my stomach. I don't know where a lot of y'all minds be at. I don't know where a lot of y'all minds be at. I don't try to figure y'all out, because one thing I realize, what makes sense to me might not make sense to y'all. I try not to figure you out. I'm not driving myself crazy wondering why you think like this or you feel like that. So when my mind start going like that, I'm like, no, Steve, nope, don't do it. Because it is what it is, what it is. What don't make sense to, what's not normal for some of us is normal to those that justify certain behaviors to make it right. And the only thing I can say to myself, unless one of my daughters come to me, and they all grown now, and say, Dad, when I was little, such and such and such, and something happened, because as far as I know, me and my ex-wife, and both of us, we protected our children very, very well. But I do know stuff can happen, right? Without you knowing, because it normally happens like that. So the only way I would know, and my youngest is 24, the oldest is 36, and they have not came to their father yet just to say such and such happened and to say who did it. But I can tell y'all from my personal experience as a father, even with my own brothers, uncles or whatever, other boys, you always want to make sure not just your girls, but your boys are okay too. Because you got boys that will touch boys. You have women that will touch boys. Y'all think this is a one-sided thing when it comes to our children. Women think this is a one-sided thing when you get into a relationship. Now, you ain't hear me say every woman, but when you get into a relationship that close and for somebody that you love and care for, and they treat you like trash, that's not all men. That's who you allowed in your circle that was toxic. And 9 times out of 10, queens, you tried to fix them and realized you couldn't. So because of your failure, queens, and I'm talking about Mr. Copeland as well, because I tried. I tried fixing women. And I'm talking about the sexual relationship ones. And I found out I couldn't. And I'm going to share this with you too, because me and Big Mo was talking about it. Oh, I was going to say, what was that? My phone. My wife's body is her body. My wife's body is her body. I know it say the two shall become one. Her body is her body, just like my body is my body. I got the right to do what I want with my body. And I'm telling you this because I realized this over the years of being married. I'm the one that took my body and laid it with other women. Now, if she did that, I don't know, during the marriages. If she did that, then she has to answer for taking her body and allowing somebody else to participate with her body. But I realize, I understand the two shall become one, but you talking about two individuals, two different personalities, two different characteristics. That's not the part of the body they talking about, Bible talking about. But we can put back and say it like this: mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the two shall become one. On the same wavelength, being yoked. My wife's body is her body. And I'm going to tell you, as a religious man, as a spiritual man, yes, I believe in all of that. But in reality, her body is her body. That blew me away when my eyes became open to that type of stuff. My body is my body. And a lot of stuff I do with my body is none of her business. And a lot of the stuff she do with her body is her business. And be honest with you, I don't care to know. That's y'all bull crap. What? Who was you with today? Why would I don't want to know that. Because guess what? I was the one that always did certain things. So I trusted that my wife's wasn't like that. Even if they was, I had to trust and believe that they was doing the right things to keep peace in here. I'm not around you 24 hours out the day. I know you work with other males and females. So I'm going to ask you, what man got fresh with you today? And now I want to ruin your day because of my insecurities. And a lot of y'all feel like that's okay to do that. Well, who were you talking to today? What was this? What was that? And then if they tell you how their day went, right, and it was some guys with them, right, now you know they at work and there's guys at work, and all of them went out to lunch. Well, what guy tried to be fresh with you? Now you want to spoil her conversation. Don't he realize you doing it? Well, I just wanted to know. That's none of your damn business. They was out enjoying themselves. Let her tell you how her day went. Women, let the men tell you how his day went. Now, if you want to know, did he sleep with somebody? Did he this? Did he that? Be honest with you, I ain't telling you nothing. Because I know it's not going to end well. So the goal is not to tell you. And sometimes just leave stuff alone until you see it for yourself. Now, once you see it with your own two eyes, now you can make the decision whether you're going to stay there or go. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, I went through all of this throughout my life. I experienced this. So after a while, right, when you in something and you see it going the wrong way, and if you do your work to try to bring it back, and it seems like it's no resolution, you're going to stay anyway. Please. I did that, and I refuse. I'm telling you right now. Y'all can come in all you want, queens. Well, I like doing this. I like pushing your car seat up. I like touch my goddamn car. I like burning your eggs. That's to see you burn my eggs. You won't be cooking them no more. Don't fix my stuff the way you know I like it. And you doing stuff because you mad about somebody else or you mad about this and you want to take it out on me. I'm not staying there too long. I'm not. A lot of y'all think that mess is okay. And I'm talking about women. Come on. I've been married twice. And I had 4 daughters. So I'm familiar with certain behaviors. And if my daughters was to do to their boyfriends some of the stuff that I hear y'all say, like deliberately, if she cook him breakfast, burn his breakfast up and stuff, daddy got something to say to them. Don't do that. Come on. And y'all be proud of that. I heard a woman say, the woman gonna tell me that she taught all this stuff, how she want a good man and blah, blah, blah. And I thought me and her might, you know, match up, you know. Then she started saying little things like, do not, queens. I'm telling you personally, I drive an SUV. So my seat is all the way back. And if you got your own car, do not do nothing to my car to spite me, to get a reaction from me. Talking about pushing my car seat all the way up. Now, if I get to the car and my seat is up, I'm not going to go on my head and say, oh, she did this, she did that. I'm going to think something that happened to the daggone car itself. Like, why my seat? What's wrong? Something wrong with my electric stuff? Only to find out you playing games. But being spiteful. Don't do that. And I'm telling you, Steve Copeland, you do not. Just like you got a car, that's your car, that I probably done brought or we done brought together for you. I'm not going to deliberately do nothing to mess the car up or to spite you, because the goal is to make sure that car is taken care of. Safe for you and the kids to drive around in. So I'm not going to play with your vehicle. Don't play with mine. My seat is all the way back. And even if my wife or my kids, one of them would drive it, I know they're going to pull it up because I'm taller. So I understand to pull it back, but deliberately do not touch my stuff. And when you tell me stuff like that in a joking way, I'm like, you better not touch mine. That's childish. And all of this stuff, me and this lady was talking little by little by little, she was turning me off. And then gonna talk about burning my eggs. It's a certain way I like my eggs scrambled. It's a certain way I like sunny side up. Burn my eggs. I cook my own stuff, burn them. And I think you did it out of spite. Burn them. Burn them. I bet you that'll be the last time you cook my eggs. Burn them. So women, you better get a grip on yourself when you call yourself wanting to do spiteful stuff to that man. Because my goal is not to make your life miserable. Can I say that again? My goal, any queen that come in my life, my goal is not to make your life miserable. I'm talking about a guy that raised his 45-year-old niece. I'm talking about a guy that raised, I believe Ebony is about 43. My niece, Derek is about 40. They are grown with their own kids. I raised my sister's kids. That's how close we were. So I'm talking about girls and then a boy. So what do I look like raising them, the girls, and then being mean and nasty to women? When I tell y'all my mother raised me, my mother taught me that men take care of their responsibilities, family-wise. But I'm going to turn around and treat my wife like trash. Things happen in relationships, okay? With the both of us. But it's how we work it out. Now on TikTok, or my social media page, I'm basically talking about Steve and my behaviors and my characteristics. It's not about her. I know what we went through. But when I talk, I'm talking about what I did in reference to a lot of the stuff we went through. And she did not deserve a lot of the stuff I done. That's why I'm talking about Steve. I don't care what we go through in relationships. I'm talking about like fussing and arguing and stuff like that. It's no need to step outside your marriage. I can tell y'all that now, but back then, to me, that felt like the right thing to do. Where she at? Or where they at? Because it was these, many of these out there, many of them. And I made sure most of them had boyfriends so I wouldn't get too attached to them. Come on. Tell y'all I'm an old, retired sugar daddy. I know how to play the freaking game. I will buy females roses, knowing she in a relationship, knowing she cannot take them roses home. I would buy her some anyway. Lingerie and all of that. Knowing that she cannot, or the guy gonna be like, where you get this from? Blah, blah, blah. I knew all that. But when it came to satisfying and pleasing that woman, that's all it was at that point. I got a wife at home. She got a boyfriend at home. 9 times out of 10, she got a baby by him. 9 times out of 10, he out there hustling with his friends, so he ignoring her. So now here come Big Unc. Now here come the hack man. Oh, this my uncle. And a lot of them did not know. We was going to the movies, we was going to dinner, and then we went to the hotel. She cleaned that thing back up and she went back home. So I'm just saying to our men, you talking to a retired OG. I done played all the games y'all call yourself doing. Been through that, been there, done it. Moved on. But now I hear a lot of y'all want women, and I was there too. Certain ones I knew I could get, I ain't had to do nothing for, because they liked me. We liked each other. So those was the ones I would go after just to hurry up and get things off my chest. Catch what I'm saying? And it was certain ones that I seen that caught my eye, and I was like, ooh. And I know because I'm an older man, right? I ain't talking about now. I'm talking about back then. Because I was a lot older, some of them it took work to get. Because when you take them to the movies, you take them to dinner, that's your way of courting them. But by right, I want to get into the underwears. So certain ones I had to do that with. And eventually, I got what I wanted. I knew they didn't want to be with me because I was an older gentleman. So I knew certain ones did not, they never slept with somebody my age. Already knew that. So I had to play that game with them. So now the reason why I'm saying this, because I ain't doing that today. And a lot of y'all come up here, I'm talking about our brothers. You come up here and you run off at your mouth like you the slickest thing out there. You couldn't tell me I wasn't. Always drove the nice car. Always looked good. I never looked my age. They knew I was older, but they didn't know I was that old. I would take them, I would take some of them, I would go around the meetings, right? Pull up. Guys be like, Steve, where you get them girls from, man? Blah, 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 blah. I said, McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's. If they working during the day, 9 times out of 10, they over 18. They working during the day, 9 times out of 10, they over 18 and they got a baby at home and a boyfriend watching the baby. And then here comes Steve. I already knew. I knew the game. If they on the buses or they on this, if they in school uniforms, then that means they under 18. Now, they can be 18 in school uniforms, but normally they're in the 12th grade. But number one, when they in school uniforms, they're young. R. Kelly, you R. Kellys. And mind you, I wasn't that far from it, but I made sure they was over 18 and under 25. At one point, I used to say over 18 and under 21. Now, mind you, I was a little young. I was a lot younger than this, playing these games. And 9 times out of 10 with me and most people that knows me in NA, or you know my reputation in Baltimore, it was more than 1. It was more than 5. See, I can talk about me. I can give you something to talk about when I talk about me. I can share stuff about me that you will use to tell the truth about me, but to try to cut me down. You'll take my own truth and fix it in the way you want it. And I'll be like, go ahead. That's my story. That's my story. And you can share my story to whoever you want. Because guess what? I make little clips of this. And I send it over to my social media pages, my other pages. I send it to LinkedIn, where you got psychiatrists, where you got business owners, where you got therapists, where you got people that deals with addiction, you know, counseling, stuff like that. We speak the same language. But the thing is, I have a tendency of sharing a personal level of experience to help break them cycles with other people. Y'all miss it. Y'all miss it. And on TikTok, y'all think y'all saying something or you telling something. No, Steve, I ain't got no problem. If I screw up something and I learn from it, I'm going to talk about it. Because 9 times out of 10, somebody somewhere in some country and some other city is either struggling with what I said, but I'm on the other side of it. And just for me to share or open up my mouth and they hear this, they just looking for that release. Like one day, whatever their journey is, or say whatever their struggle is, whatever their storm is that they're stuck in, and you let somebody like me open up my mouth and I share a similar story to tell you I was there at one point and what God did or what I did as far as being able to work up out of that, and now I'm at peace with that today. Do y'all know how many people around the world, not just the United States, that needs to hear stuff like this? Homeless people, people who used to have a beautiful life. In certain circumstances, they got to the point they lost everything and became homeless. Or they struggling to regain a life. Do y'all realize some people need to hear this? Because it's the hope that you look forward to. The change, you get me? Some people's situations might last for years. It might last for, I'm going to say, days, weeks, months. They might have been stuck in it for years. They need to hear something to say that break is coming through. That break is coming. And y'all gonna sit there and say, oh, he got a big mouth. I wouldn't tell everything. It's not for you then. Keep it moving. I'm not gonna stop opening up my mouth until he lay me down. Or one of y'all might feel like you want to come and shut me up. 9 times out of 10, if you come and shut me up, he sent you to shut me down. Because other than that, he's protecting me. And one day it's gonna come. I don't know how I'm gonna go. I already know that. And I already accepted the fact. because of what I do here, that there's a chance I can become unalive. I already know that. I seen it. I seen it. But I guarantee you a lot of y'all can't say it. But you can run off at your mouth and talk about your statistics to make a point and talk about the data and talk about this, talk about that. But you can't even talk about, yeah, well, you know, I understand that because I went through that to get on the other side of this. These are the steps that I was able to take to come out of that miserable situation. This is the steps that I learned to take to put peace back in my mind. This is how I use prayer and meditation, or I might do yoga, or I might take me a walk. And as I'm walking, I'll swing my arms and I'll do this and I'll do that to bring this down, to calm this down. Can y'all help people understand what to do? Can you help a person that's dealing with some deep PTSD or depression issues, right? Trauma, they stuck. Do you know how to encourage them? Do you know how to motivate them? Do you know how to empower them? Do you know how to little by little, step by step, to help them walk up out of it and get up out of it? It takes work to walk up out of it. It's like you in this sunken hole. You in a hole and you fighting to come out, but you keep sliding of depression. You in a hole and you fighting to come out and you just sliding back. So do you know how to talk with that person to encourage them? Come on now, you can do it. Come on, step by step. They might move into another place just this day. Then you come back and help them the next day move a little further. Then you come back the next day and you help them move a little further. Then you come back the day after that and you help them move a little further. Next thing you know, they gone. They out of it. They out of it. Do you understand the process? Do you understand the process when you got a child that's running around destroying everything? 9 times out of 10, you got that 5 or 6-year-old child that's real destructive, doing stuff, and you standing right there watching them. No, you don't. No, you don't. But some people will let them. 9 times out of 10, and y'all seen some of them videos. As a foster care parent, it's a certain way they teach you how to grab them, to bring them down. You got to work with them to get that. That's part of that conflict resolution, right? But it's a certain way you work with those children, because now you're going to have to gain control back over them because they're out of control. You sit up there and you let them tear up everything, right? Who gonna clean it up? They ain't gonna clean it up. My daughter showed me her 2-year-old daughter room. My other daughter came and got her and took her over her house. I said, when she come back, make her clean it up. I said, you stand right there and make her clean the toys up wise, right? She spread the toys all around. Make her put the toys back. And see what she got to do in that case sometimes. Watch this. She might have to start doing it herself, but making sure she do most. That's all. And mama, you can't just be throwing stuff around, blah, blah, blah. And if she do it again, you do that process again. But the more you do it, you make sure she clean it. She clean it. And I guarantee you any amount of money, once she start destroying it again, she gonna realize she got to clean it up. Same way with my children. When I was with my ex, we had the first floor, they had upstairs. It was times where I had to go up there to make sure they kept their rooms clean, beds made up, all that stuff, floors vacuum, all of that. Even when it got out of place, all right, you know what you got to do. Mainly the boys. Right now to this day, Lil Steve would mess his room up. And I call him. I'll be like, what's up, son? Because he plays game, right? You cleaned that room? Well, get it clean. And he grown. But I pick with him. That's my way of picking with him. And he don't do nothing when he home all day, right? Because he can't eat a lot of other stuff, right? So he have cereal. He eats cereal. And that's just how some boys are. Because they look for somebody else to clean it. You get me? But the way I was raised, and he don't know how to cook. Lord Steve can't cook. I don't even think he know how to boil an egg. Daddy ain't teaching none of that. I only think my wife taught him. Because he was so busy playing soccer and doing what he doing, right? It's like everybody just take care of him. Because he does what he do. And then he used to be a sickly baby, right? But now, thank God, like, because he had asthma real bad and all of that. But he runs like a gazelle. Some of the stuff he grew out of. Like right now, he don't have to take the asthma. He still got his machines. But he'll have his machine on, right? Because he goes to sleep with the sound. And I'll say something to him. I'll be like, you on the machine? Be like, nah, Dad, you know, I like listening to the sound to help me sleep. Because he had to wear it when he was a baby, on up. He couldn't drink regular milk. Similac or whatever it was. He couldn't drink all that stuff. We had to get him that other kind of milk. But I'm just saying that, and I'm saying this mainly to our fathers, right? We already know that the women, the queens, and I'm just going to say this, and it's not being no chump. It's not trying to be no punk. Now, number one, I'm the head of my house. I'm a man, point blank. My business and all that. That's mine. I'm the head over the house as a whole. My wife is the ruler and the leader in the inside. So as that covered as a whole. No matter what my wife needed, if not personally for herself, whatever that was needed for the children, we had to make sure. I knew she was going to make sure everything was straight. Even though I made sure the majority, 99% of the bills was paid. When my wife and I was together, the only thing my wife had to do was give me $600 towards our mortgage. I took care of everything else. And we had 2 cars with 2 payments. I took care of all that. She didn't have to worry about none of that. She worked too. CNA. She worked with children. Her money was her money, but I'm going to tell y'all this. If I needed something from her, I know I got it. But because of the way I worked and I brought home more, her money, guys, was her money. Because I knew she was putting it more towards the house or whatever the children was, right? Like clothing and all of that. But whatever she needed extra, I made sure she had it. I was picking with my son the other day, right? Because my wife normally go Christmas shop, my ex, normally go Christmas shopping 6 months before Christmas because we used to buy everybody gifts. It got too expensive. So I kid and I joke, right? During the holidays, I say I become a Muslim. I don't celebrate the holidays, right? So my son gonna call me the other day, tell me, Dad, you gonna give me something? I'm like, no. You working, you doing this, you doing that, you can get me some diet sodas. The goal was to get him some money, right? Because I don't buy gifts. So the thing was to give him a little money. That's how I've been doing it. They all working, I ain't getting them nothing. I'm serious. And that's why he called me, because he wanted to know, well, and then he gonna send me a message and say, Dad, would you pay my phone bill? No. And I was thinking hard on that one, family. I'm like, because I'm not used to telling my kids no. So, I went through this little thing, right? I love you, Steve, if you right there listening. Daddy got to get that white box truck, please. Look, I still got my ignition switch right here. I got to get my new ignition switch put on my white box truck. Daddy got to go down that building and get his white box truck. Put it outside. I got to get my baby up and running. It's historic, right? It's a 1999. So I'm thinking about doing commercial work with it, right? So that means I got to get it approved for commercial work. And I'm thinking about doing Amazon with it. Then I want a 28-footer. Because I'm in my mind, I'm thinking pallet stuff, right? And start doing certain things with it. I don't mind helping people move with the truck and everything too, that don't have a lot of money to be moved with. I was doing it anyway. Now, once again, 2 years ago, I was arrested for this. March the 28th, I just came off the home monitor. So once I came off the home monitor, me and Marlo had the building. A lot of people didn't know. Me and Marlo is business partners. So we got the building, 908, working with Miss Deborah. Marlo wanted all men. Miss Deborah was talking about women. Marlo don't work with women. He does returning citizens and stuff, but he mainly work with men. He don't do women. Now, I work with men. I mainly work with women and children. Let me make that clear. I mainly work with women and children, but I will help that woman. I will help the man. I will help the returning citizen. I will help the veterans. I will help, the disabled. But I mainly work with women and children. But I don't have a problem with helping anybody if you need somewhere to go. If I can't bring you in here, right? I have other people that does the same things. The difference with that, and don't hurt me if you're watching this, they charge more than I do. So whenever somebody wants somewhere to go, because we do housing temporary, so it's a room for rent, right? Now, you might be an individual in a twin bedroom with somebody you don't know. It's like $650 per bed. And it can be 2-3 beds in one room. So if you're willing to share that, because it's shared space. Now, I'll do that. But when it comes to the women and the children, if I charge $600 per bed and I got 3 beds in that room, that's $1,800 a month. But if it's a woman with children and it's 3 beds in that room, I only charge her $600 a month. I don't charge her per bed. I charge her for the room. Now, keep in mind, when you're doing the type of work we do, right? I'm renting property. So it's the clients, if the rent, say like $1,500, and I'm charging $500 or $600, because where I was at, they was charging $600. I charge $500. I might just start charging $600 now. But look, that's per room. The bed itself, if I'm doing twin beds, 2 people in a room, that'll be like $600. 2 people in the room, I might charge them $500 a piece, right? Just to go up on the price a little bit, because I was charging $450 for 2 in the room. And if you want a private room, that's $500, right? So since I've been working with them, I'm gonna go up on the price. Because what we do, if I rent your property and your property is $1,500 a month, that means, and you got 5 bedrooms, That means 3 clients will pay for that rent. That's $500. Then I got to look at gas and electric, right? Gas and electric, and then the cable bill, or say that's another $500. That's $2,000 for that one place. So I got 5 bedrooms, $500. So it's $2,000 that I got to pay for that place. Rent, gas, and electric. Sometimes the landlords do the water bill. I might give them $100 towards the water bill, but normally they don't throw the water bill. But I got 5 bedrooms. That's $2,000 a month that I have to pay for that property because I'm renting that property. And if any of my clients get to the point they start holding back on that $500, where y'all think that other $500 gonna come from? It's gonna come out of my pocket. So if something happened where I can't collect that $2,500 because now I'm starting to lose, even with that extra $500, sometimes I have a tendency I'll spend it back into the house. And say like something need fixing or something need done, just to keep the house, because I'm not gonna put you in just anything, but to keep the house up to code, up to date, and stuff like that. That's what we do with transitional housing until you're able to actually purchase your own homes. Now, either way, right? Say like if I get a block with 5 houses, I got 5 houses on one block. That's the operation for the house, for the program as a whole. And if I don't own them personally, I'm paying a mortgage for them, even though they mine. But each house I'm paying a mortgage. So I still have to collect the money from you because it's like a boarding house. And I'm trying to break it down so you can understand and make it real a little bit more simple. But it's just a temporary program to help you, to re-educate you, right? Because you're going through the process to get into a permanent place. You get it? So now, be honest, if you don't do the necessary work to improve your life, I cannot guide you to that permanent house. Because whatever you did to fall on hard times, to become homeless and stuff like that, and we're doing the proper work to help you regain your life, and you're not doing the work, I can't push you over there, can't guide you to that real estate investor or that apartment manager or that house, rented realtor, because 9 times out of 10, you're gonna make the same mistakes and fall back on hard times if you don't learn to change. And this is the type of stuff, family, when anybody come into the housing program, I have to let them know, because this is the work that you're going to have to do to turn your life around. And if you're dealing with issues like bipolar, schizophrenic, PTSD, where you need that counselor, I'm sorry. You're going to need that too, but you need that psychiatrist, because it's the psychiatrist that will diagnose you for your particular mental health illness. That's the one that would have to medicate you, right? Because they diagnose you with certain psychological behaviors that needs meds. Some meds, and I try to share this stuff basically anytime I talk, to just help people understand the whole process of what we do. If the psychiatrist see that you need something, and it's just to balance this out, y'all always see me touch my head, the brain. Sometimes they will give you meds that's too powerful for you. You have to tell that psychiatrist that this is causing me to sleep a lot or keeping me drowsy, where you can't get up and function as normal as you want and enjoy life, because you're feeling, it's to mellow you out, but it's doing too much. You have to talk with them so they can adjust the medication. Some people will constantly take the medication and they will not talk to them, and they'll just go through that process. Then they'll end up letting the medication go because they don't like the way the medication make them feel. the next thing you know, their brain's racing again. The reason why I can share like this, because these are the type of people that I deal with to help them put their lives back in order. So once you sit down and talk with Mr. Steve Copeland, I am evaluating you. I am doing my intake with you. If I decide to bring you in, and what I had to do, family, is I had to make sure, because I work mainly with women and children, I have a team of women. 2 or 1 will sit with me while I'm talking with the women. Because sometimes women will see stuff that that man can't see. And if they feel as though that person is not right for the program and they might cause us trouble, they would be like, Steve, no, I don't think that's good. They are a good, candidate. And you know what I said? I'm going to believe the women. Because of the type of person I am, I give you the benefit of the doubt. I might see exactly what they're saying, but I might see past what they're saying because I see that good person. So they will see certain things. And if they feel as though they're going to have an issue with you, because they are the ones that's going to deal with you most of the time, I listen very well. And if they say you're not a good candidate, you're not coming in. And I'm not trying to be smart. I'll do the same with the men. Because when me and the men talk and you let your ego and pride get in the way about that intake, that whatever, when you asking for help and I see you letting your pride and I feel like you're going to be an issue with me, I can't work with you. And see, what I had to do, the reason why I put this team together, to nip it at the door. I was going to say in the butt. To nip it at the door. Because, and I don't care if you get medical assistance and stuff like that, because most of them do. I have a mental health care provider. You are going to sign up for that mental health care provider services. The mental health care provider normally provides the PRP, the therapist, and they know counselors. I mean, and they know psychiatrists. I'm sorry. The whole team is right there. If you tell me that you already have somebody, and I shared all this before, but you're not using your people, then you have to sign up for the program. Because I don't need you in there zapping out. And one of the reasons why I have to talk like this, and at times when I have to repeat myself, because understand this is business. This is the way I promote my housing program. This is the way I advertise my business on social media. TikTok is not the only platform I'm on. I don't be looking for thousands and millions of views like most people try to get there. Eventually, yes, the more that information get out about what we're doing in Baltimore City, and it gets to the people in Baltimore City, somebody will call and say, hey, can I talk to you? I got a daughter or son or blah, blah, blah that needs help. Can you help them? Blah, blah, blah. Or if I can't do it, and the reason why I'm saying blah, 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 because y'all know I talk too long and I explain. So I'm trying to cut it short when I go blah, 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 trying to bring it down. But I get a lot of that. Can you help my son? He might be 40 years old, struggling with certain things. But the mother might want a man to deal with that man. That's why I wish y'all stop. Like us criticizing each other so hard like that. Stop. And some of y'all love it. You love hearing us break each other down. I believe a lot of y'all be over there getting wet and all of this stuff. It's a turn on for some of y'all women. And that sounds freaky to me. I'm telling you, when I hear certain things, I'm telling you, I will zoom in on stuff. Mainly when I hear women be like, shut up, let me talk. And you feel like you need to attack somebody. Make me wonder, you over there going, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm telling you, it trips me out. And y'all might think it's good, but it's like, you sound like freaks to me. Sound like you over there having go after go after go. There's some type of excitement there. And that's where my mind be taking me. This sucker over there. Talking about the feminist movement. Then a lady, right? Some of y'all to be talking about, yeah, because I don't need a man. I don't need this. I don't need that. I said, well, what you gonna do when it comes to, you know, smacks or that area? One lady says she got her zzz, zzz. That's why I don't need a man. You don't need nobody kissing on you, holding you, hugging you, stuff like that. Whispering sweet nothings to you, saying certain things. You don't need that. I don't care how much you go zzz, zzz. It's nothing like that companion. And now I'm gonna tell y'all, because I hear that a lot on TikTok. Y'all might think that's cute. That's still some freaky bull junk. And it still make me wonder where your mental state at. I don't need no man. I had a buddy of mine drive tractor trailers, right? And he actually went and brought him a GG where he could release himself in. That thing looked just like a regular ZG. Now, and I understand all that when you out like that and you want to go and do what you got to do. I understand on a personal note. But how long is that really going to last? Because it's a lot more to just getting off. What about dinner? I can go to dinner by myself. Yeah, you can. You can. Because I said that too. I'm going to just go to dinner by myself. I cook dinner for myself. But I'm going to just go to dinner. I'm going to go to movies by myself. I can stay home and watch the TV. The TV is on now. Whether you hear it or not, it's on. All this I do anyway by myself. God darn it, I'm getting tired. Not being able to like talk on the phone to a woman that you're interested in, and y'all talking in those deep, sexy voices and stuff like, girl, I wish that was me. The words ain't even gotta be there. Just girl, you know you don't even ain't even saying them. Yeah. So you mean to tell me I don't need a man, but you want to enjoy yourself like that? Turning your own self on like that. Whispering sweet nothing in your own ears. Like that. Huh. Who hurt you like that? I'm gonna tell you. I know I'm close to the 7, where I haven't been intimate in 7 years, and it's not something that I planned. I didn't plan it. A friend of mine I was with, she went to Philly to get clean. And I remember asking her one year, I said, how long you been clean now? Or been in Philly? It was over 2 years. I said, wow, you was the last person I had sex with. And it ain't like I didn't date. It's not like I didn't do this and do that. Now, I was dating some people and that I was interested in. And I didn't want to rush the sex things. That wouldn't have been the problem. So it was like dating and courting and getting the feel of this person. And I started seeing the side of them after a while that I didn't like. It was like I was dealing with 2 different people. So what I started learning, when you first meet somebody, you meet the representative. They're the true person, but you meet the representative. And basically they trying to practice being loving, kind, considerate, thoughtful, and stuff like that. And then that trouble side shows up. Normally after a couple of months. And by this time, we might be sleeping together. But then that other side show up. Still the same person, but it's the other side. Now, I got to decide whether I'm going to stay here because I seen the goodness. I see the beauty. I see the passion. But now I see you as a whole. And basically what I'm trying to get to, because there's 2 sides of a human being. You got your good side, then you have that destructive side. And I don't mean destructive in a way where you turn stuff apart, but I'm talking about your personality wise. Now, I have to decide, do I want to put up with that side now? Because little by little, you showing it to me. And I'm like, oh, do I want to stay here and deal with that? And sometimes as human beings, we'll stay. It's that one person. But it's the good side. And you see, I'm trying to watch my words, right? Then you got that evil side. You got that Christ-like side, character, personality. Then you have that Lucifer side, that good and evil, that evil side, that corrupt side, that liar, that manipulator, that no good son of a sea biscuit. I'm talking about me. But then when I spot it in you, am I willing to stay there and just accept you as a whole? Because you got that good side, you got that bad side, but am I willing to tolerate with your bad side? That's where the chaos and the confusion tend to come in at. That's where the toxic side, because what you're doing, you are a loving, caring, kind, considerate, beautiful person. But you're going to let your toxicity take over more. And that's what causes unhealthy, committed relationships. That's what causes unhealthy, committed marriages. Because now you got to deal with the Lucifer side of the individual character. Then you got to deal with the Jesus Christ side, or Adam, the good, the bad. So if you want to look at that, that's the individual as a whole. Did y'all realize that? Us as human beings, we got a good side, we got a bad side. But now, today, and I got to go back to Steve, I try to allow that Christ-like side. Now, I'm not looking at trying to be perfect. I try to look at that Christ-like side, that loving, caring, kind, considerate person. I try to allow that personality to, it was a word on the tip of my tongue, but to embrace more, right? But it was another word that was on the tip of my tongue that slipped, but it didn't come out. But I try to let that God-fearing side, that loving, caring guy side, right, that spiritual side, show up more. But all of y'all know when we get mad with certain people, right, that other side want, hey, bro, you ain't playing with me like that. Because I, and y'all know, as a God-fearing man, sometimes it's hard to keep that sucker down. That's anybody. I don't care who you is, TD Jakes, Creplo, all of them. I'm talking about us as human beings. Whether you're a man or a woman, you want that loving, caring, kind side to show up. But when that other person, man, I ain't gonna be taking this. Don't you talk to me like that, boy. You don't blah, 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 blah. And the fight inside. Now I'm telling you, me, as a retired OG, when I hear a lot of y'all say certain things out your mouth, you never, my brothers taught me this, you never let your right hand know what your left hand's doing. Because what you doing, you giving them heads up. And you think that person will actually just wait for you to come and do something? And then you threaten that person? Might take 3 months. Might take 6 months. Might take a year. They can't get to you. You know how it goes. Get with your family. That's why I never threatened nobody. I know how I was back in the days. I know how I was taught. My brothers said, when you go and you taking care of business, don't take no witnesses. Do it by yourself. Because 9 times out of 10, if you take a witness, that could be the snitch. That's why when I listen to a lot of y'all thug out boys, right, I kind of laugh when you go, boy, I'll punch you in your mouth. You all the way up in Alabama somewhere. I'm in Baltimore. And you want to play tough. Now, as a grown man, what I look like telling you, yeah, because I'll come and do this, I'll come and do that. Now, I'll pick with you. And I tell people, don't make me come through this phone. That means laugh. I'm saying stuff so we can laugh and kid, so we'll stop taking it so serious. I be like, don't make me come through this phone. And y'all will be in that zone. I'm like, God darn. Then I might go, nephew. If I call you nephew, that means, as an older guy, bring it down. That's all. I ain't leaving Baltimore City coming. I wouldn't care if you was in D.C. I wouldn't care if you was on the east side. I'm not coming for you. I like my freedom. What do I look like coming to take you down somewhere else? Now, I'm thinking all this time going there, you think I ain't going to be in my head? Suppose I get caught. I go to jail. I'm thinking all the way there. Some of you might not think like that. So what I tell people sometimes as a joke, when you feel like you want to take somebody out, just go sign yourself away. I'm talking about over the prison. You done already did the crime in your head. Just go over to the prison, go to Central Booking and tell them that show them the gun or something, the pew-pew, I'm sorry, for TikTok's sake. Show them the pew-pew. Go to the police, show them the pew-pew. That's a good reason to take you down without you going to take a life. Think sometimes. Think sometimes. I don't know why y'all feel like you can go and do something to somebody and don't reap the what is it, repercussions that come along with it. And then if you go take somebody down, right, somebody's life, and the police come and get you, then you're gonna tell them straight out, I didn't do that. I was with such and such and such, and they got you on camera and everything. It ain't me. That was somebody who looked like me. No, that's you. You went and did it. Then you're gonna lie about it. I was listening to a lot of guys over the prison. No, they went and did certain things. Police came for them, got the tools and everything, but then they're gonna turn around. They in the prison saying, "Oh, it wasn't me." But see, this what happened was, but it wasn't me. And I looked at some of them like, wow. One guy jumped out the window, broke his goddamn legs, talking about something that he did right, and he had to pew somebody. So they came for him, and they followed him straight to his house. He went in his house. He basically barricaded himself. I ain't do it. It was just me and him. Well, who did it? I don't know, but it wasn't me. But it was just us right there. And I was listening to some of the lies the guys was talking about. But what got me through listening to them, I was listening to the mental condition. And I started realizing a lot of the criminals that do what they do like that, they're dealing with severe mental issues or psychological issues. Now, if you're the type of person that just grabs something and go out without thinking and want to take people down, that's fine. So that might be a different thing. Because I didn't mean to say that's fine in that sense. But normally before you commit any crime, you think it through. You prepare it. Because the goal is when you go out to do a crime is not to get caught. To go out, commit this crime, and get away. Then the sad part about it, you'll come back bragging about it. Man, I did this, I did that. So now you done told people what you done. So when they say put 5,000, 10,000 on your head, right? And somebody need that money and turn you in, you think they're wrong. But who committed the crime? And a lot of y'all will sit back and justify that person's crime. Well, they was a good person. They was busy, and yeah, they could have been. But look at the flip side. I don't care what happens in my life, and I pray that nothing will happen to that point where I feel like it's okay to take somebody out. And it's going to have to be for a close family member. Real close. But the thing is, no matter what, keep in mind, because I know me, I pray to God that I never get into that mindset of wanting to take you down for what you did. Because I'm telling you, I'm going to go there. Mine. Now I'm trying to fight this thing off. And somebody need to hear this. That's one of the reasons why I don't carry pew-pews. I don't carry them today. I don't sling no, I'm trying to watch the word for TikTok's sake when I get ready to say the knife. So I'm trying to watch the words for TikTok, right? I used to carry all of that. Baseball bats. I watched the Walking Tall movie. I used to carry that hatchet stick and I would beat your butt down with it. A car jack and all that. I'm talking about them long ones back in the days that you used to pump your car with. I would take that and smack the mess out you. That's why when I look at myself, family, and I'm only sharing experience, right? I thank God I'm not the person I used to be. Whew. I don't care what none of y'all think about me. I don't care how none of y'all feel about me. It's how I feel. It's what I think about me. When I tell you I'm a better man today, that's only because of the Holy Spirit. But if you want me to keep it on the religious tip, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. It's the comforter. You can call it the third eye. You can call it Mother Earth. You can call it the energy. You can call it whatever you want if that's where you at. I understand your language. If you believe in like Mother Earth, earthly things, I respect that too. Because if that's where you at, to keep you like in that energy level cycle. I was looking at this young lady the other day. She had dreads, right? And you can tell she's real earthly. The way she was talking and everything, and the energy wise. Really. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, God dang, she's so beautiful and blah, 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 right? But I'm looking at how she was talking. You can tell she does probably yoga and stuff like that as well, meditation stuff. But just from her conversation, just her talking and the energy, and I'm like, wow, the glow. This is the stuff. When I listen to powerful people, energetic people, people that's and I'm trying to think of some of the words that like natural insight stuff, you know, who can look at the flowers, the trees, the roots, and can name them and tell you about their positive energy, maybe towards healing life, you know. See, I'm not down with that. But when I hear certain people that's in this, it just blows me away. Because I know your journey is basically spiritual. Even if you consider it like dealing with Mother Earth, dealing with earthly vibes and, you know, insight and stuff like that. It's just the words we use. And when I heard her, I wasn't looking at her looking at no faults. I wasn't looking at her trying to, well, she this, she that. Then I'm looking at her dreads, how she had her hair done, and I thought it was just so beautiful, gorgeous. But you can tell the stuff she was speaking, she basically a lot into herself with what's around her, the energy wise. How some people say the third eye and all that. And that just amazes me because I run across people actually who's like that in life. And that don't mean they don't have issues. It's how you work through it, how you channel it. That's why I keep my heart, my eyes, my mind, my spirit open to the way God deals with his people. I was taught that. I'm not in that box. I'm not in that religious box. And me and Big was talking about something the other day. And I read some stuff through my studying. We all are created by God. Well, creation, you know, creation. You do not have to believe in Jesus Christ to be with the Father. Now, if you make the decision and understand it's only two directions in life. Either you're going to be on the road of prosperity or you're going to be on the road of destruction. It's only two ways to go in life. You might be on that fence straddling. But now I'm talking about when it comes to the Creator. But when it comes to Bible, it will tell you the only way to get to the Father is through the Son. That's Bible. But through my studying, it showed me, by us being his creations as a whole, he loves us anyway. A lot of pastors ain't gonna tell you that. A lot of preachers might not tell you that. But Steve Copeland telling you that. What I wanted to do, thank you, Jesus. Even though we read the Old Testament, because I'm going biblical now, and we read the New Testament, listen to my words. The Old Testament. The Old Testament is the first covenant that God made with the prophets and all that during that time. The Old Testament. Then we have the New. This is the new covenant that God made with the people now through Christ. Do I have to do it again? The Old Testament. Your old testimony. Your old way of practicing certain things is how God dealt with you the same way he dealt with them in the first covenant. Now you have the new. And do y'all know that they have a New Testament Bible out there that separates from the old? They got them together. Now, I might still have it, trying to see if it's over there, but I ended up getting just the New Testament itself. It didn't have the Old Testament in with it. Because basically what I'm saying too is separating it. You got your Old Testament, the old way of doing things. They was not perfect. Even in your New Testament. Paul was not perfect. The disciples was not perfect. They struggled too. Paul said it himself. He said, the good in me I ought to do, I will not do. But it's the evil in me I always find myself doing. And it hit me one day. I said, oh my God, he struggled with his flesh. But he never turned his back on the ministry. He was called to minister. So no matter how he struggled, no matter how he stumbled, no matter how he felt, he didn't let his shortcomings stop him from continuing on. And that's what God showed me. No matter how you stumble and fall, Steve, I still love you anyway. But continue walking in your calling. He told David basically the same things. Look what David did with Bathsheba's husband. He told David, because he guided me there, no matter how you stumble and fall, he was telling David, but he said, Steve Copeland, no matter how you stumble and fall, I love you anyway. Just continue moving. So when I look at people like Jamal Bryant, no matter how he stumbled and fall, did he step down from the ministry? T.D. Jakes, no matter how he stumbled and fell, did he step down from the ministry? Creflo Dollar. Now he could be considered as one of the greedy ones, right? But no matter how he stumbled and fall, he's still ministering. Eddie Long, at that time, no matter how he struggled with his sexuality, he kept putting the word, giving the word. even though he wasn't practicing certain things in his own personal life. Stuff like this started letting me see we as individuals, no matter what your title is, as human beings, we stumble in life. We fall short. But people like myself, what I have a tendency of doing when I stumble and fall and I have recovered from those areas, I'm going to share it back. And I'm going to share with you what you can do to recover from it. I'm not one of them ones. Oh, everybody don't need to know your business. If that's how you do things, that's how you do it, because it's not for you. But I can tell you personally, and it's been working for 32 years. Me sharing my personal life and experience, God, thank you. Because I done helped a lot of people by him using me, becoming productive members of society today. I'm telling you. And if you think that's bragging, if you think that's boasting, I thank God that I was able to humble myself so he can use me. Do you think that mess feel good sometimes? I'm sitting up here telling y'all my deep, dark, dirty secrets. Do y'all think so? So I have to have courage and confidence and boldness and strength and power from him to be able to tell y'all how I stumble and I fall as a human being and how I stand back up. It's him. It's the power. It's the glory. In the same way I work with my children. They're grown. And when they struggling with certain things in life, daddy there for them. I become that therapist. But then I realized, guess what? Do y'all want to go and talk to a personal, a professional? Because daddy going to do what he got to do to heal your children. You get me? But my thing is, do y'all want to go talk to that professional? Because daddy going to try to fix them. And sometimes we can't fix them. They got to go through what they go through, but we can comfort them. And my thing is, go and talk to the professional. Get you somebody that, daddy too close. I already know that. Dealing with the women in my housing program. Most of them are my daughter's ages, right? So here come dad. I try to fix them. But then I realized, Steve, you too close. Send them to the professionals. I'm laughing, y'all, because I try to fix you in a minute. Mold you and shape you right. Then it hit me. You ain't Jesus, but that's my big brother. If he can mold and shape him and fix him, I can too. Look, my mom be like, Steve, you better stop playing turkey. You better guide them to the right help. Okay. I'm telling you. Oh my God. Whoa. I'm laughing because sometimes I'll get caught up. I'll be like, Steve, I want the best for you. I'm telling you, look, I want the world for our people. But you got to want it for yourself. I want the world. I'm telling you. I'm trying to push the goodness of God on y'all. Like, this is what he did for me. This is what he did for me. And I know he can do it for you. My stomach hurt because I'm laughing. I had other people that taught me. We call them predecessors, right? Taught me how to live a better way of life. Taught me that the life I was living, because I was traveling down that road of destruction, right? what it was leading me to. It was other people when I got clean 32 years ago that took me by the hand. They actually took us by the hand as newcomers and guided us through this process. And guess what I do? The newcomers, whenever I'm doing a meeting, whenever I speak out, I'll touch a little bit. And I'm talking about the NA, the spiritual program. Narcotics Anonymous. TikTok friendly only, because they don't like you to get too deep in certain things. I already know. But when we got the newcomers, the goal is to feed you just like they fed me. Get on the front row. If I come into an NA meeting and I realize, say, like a group of younger people or newcomers are in there, they was brought in through a program, I tell them get on the front row. I don't care who brought them there, because I did a meeting one day, and before I started speaking, I realized it was a program of younger people, because they come to the meetings too. And my thing was, the people that was sitting on the front row that might have been there for years, let them kids sit there. Y'all know better than that. The newcomers supposed to be on the front row. So the only thing I do is feed them the way they fed me. Take the cotton out your ears, put it in your mouth. Newcomers are not supposed to share. They're not supposed to talk. Because you in this process of learning to live a new way of life. So the things is, you got to push out that old stuff to let in the new. A lot of y'all don't know how to work with them. You sit on the front row, take the cotton out your ears, put it in your mouth. If we want to know where the cop, we'll ask you. And I remember during that time I was trying to raise my, well, see, they got it over there. They was like, shut up. I was like, huh? I know where it's at. But we're in recovery. They would tell me, shh. You don't be telling me what, shh. Shh. I had to learn to shut my mouth. Because I knew what it was, out there. Then I had to learn to live a new way of life. The same way, they'll tell you do a 90-90. The same way I didn't become addicted to the smugs and all of that overnight. It took years to become, it became a habit. That's all I'm trying to say, it became a habit. The same way that became a habit, sitting on the front row, take the cotton out my ears, listen to learn to listen. Now I'm being taught another way of life. It became a habit now. 32 years. January the 26th will be 33. 2026. A day at a time. I didn't even imagine myself being here. A day at a time. Then accumulated a day at a time over 32. Closer to 33. But just for the day, 32. Have the working knowledge of the 12 steps, 12 traditions, and the 12 concepts. I understand this is a spiritual program. If you don't understand what traditions is like the laws that was created. Thank you. The traditions are like the laws. It's like the 5 books of Moses. Listen to what I'm saying. They are traditions. Look at the 10 commandments. If you break them, you get punished. The traditions of NA. You learning to live a structured way of life in the program. But you're learning to live by, once again, I keep saying, morals, values, and principles. The traditions in NA is no different than the 10 commandments or the 5 books of Moses. They are laws. You see how I was able to put the two there? Because I started saying this as I begin to grow. A lot of the stuff that's in our spiritual programs comes from the Bible. They just broke it down to teach people how to live a more structured way of life without those chemicals up in you. The chemicals that tend to destroy your life. So I use what I've learned and have been learning or practicing over the years. Now, I was taught this too. If you don't use what you have, like this information, I will lose it. So in order for me to keep what I have, in order for me to keep what I have, in order for me to keep what I have, I got to give it back. I'm the one that has to sit here and thank you, God, to do the research to find out better ways for us to deal with this type of lifestyle that we live in of being enslaved and oppressed. You want to take it there? Because I see what's happening. Not just me, most of the people I deal with. I'm just the big mouth one. I speak a little louder than most of the people I deal with. I'm talking about people in the programs that I deal with, the nonprofits, the ACLU, Communities United. I'm the one that speaks louder. I speak loud. And people that knows the fight and knows the battle knows when Big Steve opened up his mouth. I don't care where we at. But when I open up my mouth, now you know when I'm standing in front of a crowd, I got to be more productive, right? But my message, when they hear it, they be like, wow. Because number one, I'll take you here so you can better understand why certain people practice certain behaviors to help you get a better understanding. I don't care who you is. You can be scientists, you can be professors, but if you lived a good quality of life and you in your head trying to figure out why people do what they do, but then you take Steve Copeland gonna take you through gonna walk you through the process. You got it now? You got it now? And I have no problem. I'll sit here like this with my legs crossed. When I was 11 years old, I started doing this. When I was 13 years old, I started drinking my Diet Pepsi, but it really wasn't Diet Pepsi. It was a cup like this, colorful cup, full of T-Bird. 13 years old. A Tupperware cup like that. When I turned 13, 14, the powder, cocoa leaf, 14 years old. And I don't have no problem sitting like this with my legs crossed. And then I'll tell you this one right here. Between 14, 15, I started doing this with it. I don't care if I'm sitting in front of Trump, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, doctors, therapists, people that never experienced certain things for themselves, that do not understand why people in the Black poor community tend to do what they do to survive. I will talk to you like this. And you can see the looks on their face like, wow. Because sometimes people don't understand. Why? When you lived in rat-infested places, houses, roaches, when you eating bacon and grits for dinner, not breakfast. And you take somebody like me who will sit around these professionals, and I'm talking about like your psychiatrist, your therapist, they got their doctorate degree, they went to school and they studied all this stuff. But Steve Copeland will come in and he will share the stuff that I talk about they studied to learn. And they be like, wow. And then I would tell you what we can do, what Stephen Copeland has been doing for the last 32 years by going back into the community. Hey, nephew, come here for a minute. Knowing that he's hustling. Now, you can't talk with everybody, but there's certain ones that's going to look at you and you get a certain feeling like, oh, I can talk with this one. I call him nephew. Because one, you want to make you want to make them feel like family. One, they don't trust you. So I can't go in there with the suit and the tie on. I got to come in a certain way. So I can feel part of to them. But somebody that was there at one point in their life, but now they're no longer there. When I talk with a still suffering person, smug addict. When I talk with a still suffering smug addict, and I see the pain in them, and I tell them I used to do this, I was there at one point. Do you know how that blows their mind? Because they be like, you can relate to where I'm at. And I tell them I was there. I was once like you. And what happens, right, when they hear that, it makes them feel cool, because when they hear certain things that you're no longer caught up like that, right, it gives them a sense of hope. I know this because if you ain't in the community to see it, you won't know. And when I tell them, they be so surprised. Because in their mind, they can't come out of it. I would sit down there on North Avenue and I watch people walk by. And they look like zombies. They walk by and they look like zombies. Look like they don't have no life in them. They walk and they look like they don't have no life. And I'd be like, oh my God, they hurt me. I'm like, oh my God, they hurt me. And they trying to numb that pain, family. And when I look at them, I feel so sorry for them, because you know you want to help. But they got to want to help, you know? And when I sit there and I look, and you just see them moving about, and if it's a group of them, they just look like walking zombies, like they unalive, but just walking. I'm like, oh my God. I'm looking at the pain that's inside of them that they're running from. Childhood trauma. Some of them, everybody now, haven't been raped or none of that type of stuff, right? When they was young, it could have been abuse, could be physically, mentally, or spiritually, could be abandonment issues. It could be just getting caught up with the wrong crowd. But you never know why unless you sit and talk with them. And because of, and I'm talking about being in the community, talking with you still suffering. And then you let them know. I'm over here normally on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. If you see me over here, you want to help this talk, come and talk with me. I have to do this with our hustlers too. And the hustlers I'm talking about, the ones that's out there touting. Do y'all know what touters are? They're normally the ones that you give your package to go out there. I'm familiar with the life. We didn't pay them a lot. We would buy them outfits and all that to make them look good because it made it look like they was making money. We ain't had no problem making sure they had enough to help their girls with the rent, the gas, electric, stuff like that, because you taking care of your crew. Told y'all I come from the game, right? That's why I run off at my mouth. I just want people to know you can change. Mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And some things I talk about, y'all, it still hurt me to see our people suffer. That's why I do what I do, what I do. I done been called all kind of names by y'all that I've never heard before in my life. I'm just a black man that's trying to get back to his community. I'm just a father that wants the best life for our younger people. I'm just a grandfather that wants to see things change where our younger generation can live a productive way of life. I don't want for nothing. Let me say this right now. I don't want for nothing. I live a very, 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 very comfortable life. I'm proud of my children. I'm proud of my grandchildren. I'm proud of my nieces. I'm proud of my nephew. I'm proud of the Copeland family. I'm talking about the ones that's under me now. Because I'm the fourth oldest that's living out of all of us. I'm the most responsible one out of all of us. And when I sit back and look at that, right, my mother gone, my grandfather gone, all my uncles and aunts that I knew, right? My oldest uncle on the Williams side, he's gone. He was about 90 something. He passed away. But I have to go back to the Copeland family. And I'll say with Barbara Jean and Mary Copeland, I'm sorry. They sisters. So I got my two cousins from my aunt and then my brother and myself. I'm the fourth down. Don't nobody do this like this but me. Sometimes my family don't understand why I do what I do, what I do. That just goes to show you because they never went through certain things like some people struggling with whatever. Because the family always been like this, even though we kind of will separate everybody in their own little world. But the good part about that, as long as they living and they doing what they doing, I know they okay. And everything we taught them. I'm talking about the opposite of how we used to do, Courtney, or how we used to live, right? When I look back at that, right, my oldest brother used, my brother next to him, my cousin, my other cousin, all of us down, used. Now, our children, grandkids are not caught up like that. And one day it hit me. And I'm getting ready to say the mold, right? But you know that is broken. You get me? When I look down at our kids on down, now none of them are like alcoholics, smug addicts, none of that. It's not to say if they go out, they might, casually. They are casual. We wasn't casual. You could not tell me at one point I was not a sociable addict until I came in the NA and they said there's no such thing of a sociable addict. Because you could not tell me I wasn't sociable. I'm telling you could not tell me. And I did the cocoa. They called that the rich man high, the cocoa. That was the rich man thing. You could not tell me that I wasn't in that rich man crowd as a social, doing all that. You could not tell me. That it was wrong. Even if you said it. And some people that never lived that life, and I try to explain to them, even though you can see that it's wrong because you're not practicing it. But when you got a person that's doing it, they in it, they will take that wrong and make it right. And that's what we do. Take that wrong and make it right. We will justify the wrong and make it right. Somebody need to hear this that's caught up. We will justify our lies. We will justify the most outrageous nonsense that's happening in our life and justify it and make it right. And that's what I had to learn when I came around. We will justify the most outrageous nonsense, justify, rationalize. I was trying to get to both of them. Because I'm telling y'all, once I came out of that, and I had other people who like had clean time, and they just you know they spoke the language, and I'm like, wow. That's why, and I'm telling y'all straight out, if you don't get it, when y'all hear me say stuff like, and I'm gonna get ready to end this in a little bit, it's just you know, every time I come on, I say I don't mean to come on that long, but sometimes I don't know how God gonna take me. But and I'm thinking about our predecessors, right? Even when I go to meetings right now in the day, 32 years. A lot of them might have had 5 years, 10 years, 3 years, a year, or months. Blew me away when I first came around. Just to know that they was able to stay clean that long. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And now when I get the keychains, I get the black keychain. Multiple. Even if I don't go to a meeting January 26th to get my key for the 33 years, once I do go, I'm going to get it. And you know what? People that knows I've been around there start yelling out, how many years now? How many years? Because they only say it so the newcomers will know. One day at a time, 33 years. One day at a time, 32 years. That's how we give people a sense of hope. I don't care what your lifestyle is. I don't care if you are a 304. It's 304s that end up turning that lifestyle around. Because that itself can be an addictive lifestyle. Smacks, I'm telling you, one is too many, and 1,000 is never enough. And I'm talking about a guy who had wives at home. One wife in my first marriage, another wife in my second marriage. But then when I got unhappy about something, did I say her? Did I say them? I said when I became unhappy about something. I'm the one that did the chasing. I'm the one that did the running, not them. So whenever you see Big Steve on TikTok, Queens, I can talk about Steve. I don't need you to talk about me because you don't know me to talk about me. And then on top of that, what you'll do, and I understand, don't get it wrong. If you want to compare me to somebody else, I can say, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right. But it ain't going to hurt me. Don't get it wrong, because when you wrong, you wrong. And I'm talking about me, right? But if you queens, been in relationships, and I'm gonna say the brothers too. If y'all been in a relationship where you was deceived and mistreated and all that type of stuff, and you committed yourself to that individual, no, you did not deserve to be treated like that. Okay? Big Steve telling you that. Big Unc. No, you did not deserve for that individual to mistreat you in any way if you gave your heart and your soul to that person. You did not deserve it. No. None of my wives deserved, even though I'm a great man. But when I'm caught up in certain things, that's why I say it's a good side of us and it's a bad side of us, right? When I'm caught up in certain things, I'll run. You and it ain't even you. You ain't got nothing to do with it. But you'll turn around and go, oh, I must do this, I must do that. No, sometimes. We'll make an excuse if you carry it like that. Now, I don't care what y'all say. I'm telling you. Look at where my hand is at. And I put the other three down. Because you know how they say the hand pointing at you? I'm pointing at me. I'm bringing all of them together. Me, I can only tell you from a male's perspective, and maybe not perspective, but from a male's personal experience. This will see some men can understand where I'm coming from completely, and some men might not, because they haven't experienced it in that sense. But some men who have been through this process, traveled, or some men, women, queens, if you see certain behaviors, and I'm going to tell you this, if you got a man that's cheating on you, you can throw it in his face all you want. But you the one got to make the decision whether you're going to be there and continue taking it or not. Because number one, once he know that he's out there slinging wingy, but you still staying, it's going to be hard for him to stop slinging wingy. Because you accept the fact. Don't get mad with him. I'm telling you now. Because if you know he's a cheater and you think you can sit there and fix that, no matter how you kiss on it, no matter what you do, the same things you doing to him, he's thinking about what Betty or Barbara or Tisha can do across the street or 3 blocks away or maybe down in D.C. somewhere. So the moment you finish there, he already in his head thinking about them. Telling you about me. Because once you finish, now I want Becky to do it. Once Becky finished, now I want Deborah to do it. Because you think it's all about that. And I'm all up in here. Nope, I got to get that fixed somewhere else. You notice I say I. Because I can only tell you about the behavior I practices. And it's a lot of men like me. That's all I'm trying to tell you. But don't go plucking your man nerve talking about, are you doing what Steve doing? No, Steve ain't doing it no more. One day at a time. Well, this guy on TikTok was talking about he's a retired sugar daddy. Is you still practicing your sugar daddy ways? Because he was talking about men that does what you do, but he was talking about him. Mm-hmm. He was talking about how he was a 304. But rather than him being a 304, he was the male. He like the 304 that dress a certain way, that go out there and sell their body. He's telling you he know how to hook up to you. And look damn good when he hook up. To go out there and sell his body. I need to get off now because I'm getting goofy. But yeah, I can't joke with y'all all the time. I tell y'all, I like colorful ties. I learned how to take regular ties, flip them into bow ties. A lot of my bow ties are colorful ties. So a lot of my ties, my socks match. A lot of my ties with the shoes, Now I'm in the slim fit thing now. I love that Italian look. I don't want to say tight because I don't want to go tight, right? But the slim fit stuff. I would wear my pants where my ankles would show more. Because of the socks. I want you to see the socks. So when you see a guy, I watched a guy today get out of the car and he had a suit on, but he had a skinny suit. Because once he got out, he had to pull his pants leg down. And I said to myself, I love it. The way the shoes and the socks and the out. I'm just saying that because I'm 6'1". And then when I put on stuff, and that's why I picked with Big Eric, right? On Conversation. Big Eric is 6'8". He called me Unc, I call him nephew. And I love the way he talked, because the way he talked like me, but he's more intellectual with it. And he's straightforward. And T. Chella, he's straightforward. I call him Judge Chella. T'Challa. Because he don't have no problem telling you where he at and what he don't like. Mainly when we doing that feminine women stuff, he will come right for you. See, that's what I love about certain men that keep it real. I'm tired of being around a bunch of phony, fake people. I realize it, right? If I cut you off, because it was something in you that brought me to your attention. But eventually, if I start cutting you off, that means whatever you did to grab my attention, you're starting to lose it now. Mainly when I see a bunch of chaos and confusion coming with it. I will eventually, and it takes me a little bit because, I don't want to just leave you alone. But once again, because of where I'm at on my spiritual journey or because of my connection, once I start acting like a fool myself, I know I'm not in the right place. And I'm not talking about with my yelling and screaming. No, that's part of it. But basically what I'm talking about, whenever I come in to say something, I'm coming from a level of personal experience. You cannot critique it. You cannot play with it. I got to end this right here because my battery is real low and it's going to cut off. I'm talking about my